Right, you just saw that dogfight right there. But the first thing I've got to say is Chris Curtis, I'm sorry to say it, I like the guy, but he is a sore loser. He was going to lose that fight with Imavov, and if they made that fight again, Imavov would be a lock to win that fight. Not only that, it's not the first time that he has been salty after a fight. Look at the Jack Hermansson fight. Look at the fight with Nassourdine Imavov. I know it was an injury that had to stop the fight, but still. And for Nassourdine Imavov, also what I've got to say, he needs to learn to calm down because it's not the first time he's raged at someone like that. Look back at the fight with Joaquin Buckley. The guy's mouth guard fell out and he's going over charging all aggressive before Mark Goddard has to steamroll up to them and tell them to calm down. So that's what I've got to say. But anyways, this fight here was so strange because he's got very good first round cardio, but it seems like his cardio has regressed. Because if you compare his fight with Strickland to the one against Dolidze, he looked, I don't even want to say better, because against Dolidze he actually dropped him, so I can't say he's better, but his cardio looked better in that fight. How can your cardio look better in a fight with Sean Strickland compared to a guy like Dolidze? One, Roman Dolidze tried to do the same thing Strickland did, but Strickland was way more effective because he was able to use the jab efficiently as well as using the clinching, and not just use the clinching the whole fight. That's all Roman Dolidze did. So here's the scorecard I gave. So Imavov, first round, obvious, 10-8. He mauled him. Second round, again, I believe Nassourdine Imavov won that round, but it was a round where he did more damage. All that Roman Dolidze did is hold him against the cage, specifically in this round, and he did absolutely nothing, and he was just trying to like push his elbows up into his face. And I know that Nassourdine Imavov was kind of like grabbing onto the glove cheating, which he was, but I still think he did enough to win that round. And again, round 3, another Imavov round. Just the same thing. Roman Dolidze clinching, stalling, doing no damage. And then this is where it changes, because in round 4, because of the point deduction, I don't know where number 10's gone, but just think of that as a 10. No, not a 10, an 8. And Roman Dolidze got a 10. In my opinion, it's stupid, but Nassourdine Imavov's cardio showed again. After the third round, he fades. He's backing up against the cage, and all he can do in reality is just hold. But then each shot's on the outside, but because he actually was more aggressive and did not allow Nassourdine Imavov to land anything impactful, despite me giving Imavov the second round because you'll see that the striking was more similar, the strikes he landed in that second round looked better than the ones in the fourth. Like in the fourth, it was just a lot of holding and not allowing Imavov to get into that state where Herb Dean's having to break it up every minute. And then round 5, Imavov, but again, it's fine margins. It was not a good performance in my opinion by Imavov. On paper you might think it is because of the score, but it's the fact that his cardio just looks poor. The first round looks good for him, but after the third round he just looks tired and sloppy, and I know he's got a big guy clinching on him, so it's hard, but it's not just that. One thing he did effectively in the fight, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, was checking them leg kicks, or not even checking them, teeping them. He was reading when he was going to throw them and then making it harder for Dolidze to use takedowns, which I need to go into right now by just kicking them, like not even oblique kicks, so just like these front kicks to the leg. But it was Roman Dolidze, I've got to say this right now, his takedowns are shocking. Like honestly, he never uses them, and when he does, he kind of like leans his whole body into his opponent and doesn't look to like lock the hands or anything, and just tries to drag them down. And I'm not just saying it because of his cardio, I'm saying it because his offensive grappling is not good. He's a bottom, and not the bottom that you're thinking of. I'm talking about like, he wants to be on the bottom like these jiu-jitsu fighters. So at the end of the day, I think of him more as a clinch, and I want to use my jiu-jitsu and go for that triangle choke into a heel hook transition, which he tried again today, compared to a fighter who wants to take people down, then use their jiu-jitsu. He never does that. He did it in his earlier UFC fights, but you don't do that anymore. So for Imavov, it was just easy because Dolidze is like sitting down in a lot of punches, but whilst he's sitting down in these punches, and I'm talking about the first round where he looks quite good, it's easy to defend against that because you're able to anticipate he's trying to sit down and just throw that straight punch. Because when you're lowering your level towards your opponent and he's on the outside, that straight punch is going to be there if you're not moving your head off the centre line, because he's just dropping his head down low, then throwing a strike. He's not moving it off the centre, so the straight punch is going to land on him, and it did. And I forgot to mention, you could argue that this round where I said Dolidze won 10-8, that could be a 9-9. But in my opinion, Dolidze just won it with the aggression. And remember, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but Dolidze's gas tank finished. It always has been, and it always will be. He's not worked on it. And I thought he would have been able to work on it. If he trained with Sean Strickland, the guy full of cardio, surely he can get it into him. And remember, Imavov's like 28, he's young. It's not like Dolidze, who's 35 years of age. Not an old man, but it's not really young, is he? So for Imavov, he ain't getting a Sean Strickland fight. He knows he's not. He's just saying that to gain attention. And with Roman Dolidze, I wouldn't be surprised if they threw him back in a prelim. Probably not. Probably will end up on a main card on like a pay-per-view or something. But if he fights Jared Cannonier, he will get mauled. If you just try and do that when you're gassed out and you're tired and your opponent is tired from all that grappling, look what Cannonier was able to do with Vettori with that cardio. In a 5-round fight, he would probably KO Roman Dolidze because he'd be tired, he'd just clinch. And don't get me wrong, Roman Dolidze's got a good chin. He could have done what Aljamain Sterling did and flopped all over the floor when he put his hand down. And we all know that rule should be removed, but we're no longer in the UFC Pride days, so unless some commission comes out of a new rule, we're going to have to deal with it. And fighters have got to learn and just use their brain sometimes. But it's like, again, that's why I was mentioning the aggression by Imavov. He knows the guy's hands down. He's seen it. But he's like done it in a fit of anger. And that's what I mean. I think he has anger issues. And just one more thing. I've only just seen it now. Imavov actually eye-poked Dolidze before knocking him down. And I've only just realised it because he lands a good cross. He rolls to move his head off the centre line to dodge the incoming hook counter. But then as he comes up to measure the distance, when you put your fingers out like that, he didn't do it on purpose, but he accidentally eye-poked him. But Dolidze, being like the guy who he is and not being soy, he takes it. You see Dolidze try and clinch, but Imavov, using his good range, is able to measure the distance once again and then knee him to the body, which then lowers the hands to free the hook to the head, which he lands, and then puts him down to the ground. It was a good combination, but the one problem was the eye poke. And I hate to spoil anything about the win, but he should have been disqualified. I'm joking, obviously not. But there was a small eye poke that went unnoticed. But anyways, we've got Joe Pyfer Hermanson next week anyway. So we saw a few Leon Edwards-esque type of cheating tactics, but apart from that, he looked better than Dolidze and he deserved the win. So thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.